Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 58, right? Dehyamane agnibhir dehe Dehyamane agnibhir dehe Patyu patni sahotaje Patyu patni sahotaje Bahistitha patim sadvi Bahistitha patim sadvi Tam agnim anuvekshyati Tam agnim anuvekshati Dehyamane agnibhir dehe Patyu patni sahotaje Bahistita patim sadvi Tam agnim anuvekshati Dehyamane agnibhir dehe Patyu patni sahotaje Bahistita patim sadvi Tam agnim anuvekshati Mercy, please. Dehyamane, while it is burning. Agnibhi, by the fire. Dehe, the body. Patyu, of the husband. Patni, the wife. Shaha utaje, along with the thatched cottage. Bahi, outside. Sthita, situated. Patim, unto the husband. Sadvi, the chaste lady. Tam, that. Agnim, fire. Anuvekshati, looking with great attention, will enter the fire. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, H. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. While outside observing her husband, who will burn in the fire of mystic power along with his thatched cottage, his chaste wife will enter the fire with rapt attention. Gandhari was an ideal chaste lady, a life companion of her husband. And therefore, when she saw her husband burning the fire of mystic yoga along with his cottage leaves, she despaired. She left home after losing her 100 sons, and in the forest she saw that her most beloved husband was also burning. Now she actually felt alone, and therefore she entered the fire of her husband and followed her husband to death. This entering of a chaste lady into the fire of her dead husband is called the sati rite, and the action is considered to be most perfect for a woman. In a later age, this sati rite became an obnoxious criminal affair because the ceremony was forced upon even an unwilling woman. In this fallen age, it is not possible for any lady to follow the sati rite as chastely as it was done by Gandhari and others in the past ages. A chaste wife like Gandhari would feel the separation of her husband to be more burning than actual fire. Such a lady can observe the sati rite voluntarily, and there is no criminal force by anyone. When the rite became formality only and force was applied upon a lady to follow the principle, actually it became criminal. And therefore the ceremony was to be stopped by state law. This prophecy of Narada Muni to Maharaj Yudhishthira forbade him to go to his widowed aunt. Sorry, my voice. It's just too much singing the last 3 days and before I came here. I was just thinking about this verse, how to make some comments. I'm sure you all have a lot of things to say about these points. In this modern age we're living today, this not being talked much about these things. Chastity, people don't even raise this issue about chastity and this topic. But very much so in the Vedic culture, everything is voluntary. Nothing is forced upon. Even Krishna himself, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita, but he didn't say anything about people forcing themselves to surrender to him. He said, now, I have told you, you can now accept or leave it. So there's nothing about forceful, it was all voluntary. So the idea behind the Vedic culture is that it is love. Out of love, people did it because they know the perfection of everything. The highest perfection is to love Krishna. Just like in this world also, people talk about love, but they don't actually understand what is the underlying principle of love. They didn't talk about it only. The real love is only found in Bhagavan, in Krishna. Only He can give that love. Otherwise, there is this just only talk about it. Just like we talk about Krishna consciousness and Prema Bhakti, love for Krishna. But how much do we actually have it in our heart? We can be talking about it theoretically. Srila Prabhupada spoke about love of Godhead, loving Krishna, pure devotional service. He actually had it in his heart. We only talk about it. We may have it or not, that's another thing, but Prabhupada actually had love for Krishna. So everything is voluntary. Voluntary means you have to have that love for Krishna. If you don't have, Prabhupada always said, you have a love for material things, love of the world, love of your family, and everything that goes along with the material world. But the real love is when we can awaken our love for Krishna, love for our Guru, love for the Vaishnavas. Otherwise, if we talk about chastity, like talks about here, Gandhari, she followed her husband into the fire. But the husband was also a very qualified person. If he can light fire from himself, that's a real husband. How many husbands here that they can light, fire from your own self and give up your body? I would surrender to such a person. So if we, that's why Prabhupada says, it's not that it's in the purport, it's not that we can follow this. Impossible for this Kali Yuga to, we find in the world today, all over the world, there's separation from husband and wife early. And she stuck with him, hundreds of years. And Vedic culture, they stick together no matter what. And we even sometimes say that, he should give up and take sannyas and then go to preach. There's nothing wrong to stay together if you are going to preach Krishna consciousness. The problem is we are not sticking together, separating too early. If your purpose is to preach Krishna consciousness, the higher purpose is to preach Krishna consciousness, you see the urgency of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, then you can leave. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He left in the middle of the night, but he transformed the whole world into Krishna consciousness. So if you run away in the middle of the night, you can transfer the whole world into Krishna consciousness, then you can run away in the middle of the night. But the idea is to stick together. Stick together no matter what, thick and through. But the problem is there. Even if you're brahmachari or grihastha, it doesn't matter. There's a problem everywhere. This is a material world. Dukkhalayam sasatam. Krishna says the material world is a place of misery. The problem is we try to make it comfortable, and there is a problem. You can't make this place comfortable. There's no way. It's like blowing on a boil. You put a patching work. You put a Band-Aid on. But the problem is there, root in our heart. The problem is in the deep, within the heart. That problem is the material desires. So it has to be voluntary. Just like we sing and dance, it's not that for many, many years we can do it. Many people can't do it. They leave. They fall for other things. Sense gratification. They fall for it. Even though we know that the taste for spiritual life is there, but the strength, but the influence of the material world, the influence of Kali Yuga is so strong that drives us away from that love for Krishna, even though it's there. This is why Vedic culture, it was a different time. And now we're living in Kali Yuga, a different time. Kali Yuga means this material world, now is the time, it's very impossible to practice Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. But it will explain in the later chapter how in the next verse and the verse after that it was the mercy of Vidura that Dhritarashtra was forced upon to go to the forest. So it is also not good to stick together days and days, and you're turning 50 and 60, you're still putting lipstick, and when you're 70, 80, you still put on a high heel shoe and walk around, try to look like young. But you have to leave this body one day. So when you get old age is simply an indication to turn to Krishna. At least we wasted so much of our time when you're young, going around in a material enjoyment. chasing after sense gratification, and we get at least when you turn 50 or after that, give that time for Bhagavan, for God. These are the indications we're getting old, body is falling apart. No patching work. Give to Krishna. Go to the holy dham. That's why the Bhagavatam advises us. That's why Vidura told Dhritarashtra, get out of your family. Go to the forest. Give up your attachment to all of these things you're so attached to. Your kingship and your followers and all these things. So the idea of the Bhagavatam, to hear the philosophy, is to develop that understanding deep in our heart. To that one day we all have to leave this body. Prabhupada always gives the example. We are in a hotel. People go to the hotel and you don't make yourself comfortable there. Because you know you're going to be there for a short time and then you're going to leave. So all of us, similarly, we don't make ourselves comfortable here. Because we are here for a short time. This is the simplest understanding. Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai. So much we can understand from this purport. Each verse have so much meaning for us to learn from. So, sometimes it doesn't work out. So there is divorce, there is separation. Don't go crazy and pull your hair out. Sometimes there's Krishna's arrangement. If you are going to serve Krishna, if you are going for the right direction, that may be Krishna's arrangement. But then you go on and on. One is finished, you start another one, and then you go on and on. That's punascharvita charvananam. Simply trying to enjoy this body. Punascharvita charvananam. People in India, they always make the sugarcane juice on the side of the road. Have you seen making sugarcane juice? It's wonderful stuff. You drink the sugarcane juice in Radhakund, you will be sick instantly, because the machine that they use is not clean. But I was living in China. They make sugarcane juice. The machine is really clean. They have big cup after cup. Just like before I came here, we had a Bhaktivinoda Thakur Disappearance Day. So I made this pina colada. Heard of that? It's coconut and pineapple. And don't put canned pineapple. If you want a real taste, you have to put a fresh pineapple and blend it up, heaps of pineapple, and you follow the recipe. And there was a big line of people. We give prasadam to all the people, free lunch. And so there was a huge line that day. Somehow people found out this Bhaktivinoda Thakur Disappearance Day. I mean, half the people that were in the temple was, when I walked out of the temple, there was this line going up to the road, because they knew about the prasadam, but they forgot there's program in the temple. Anyway, so me and one devotee, my godbrothers, we're having pina colada, cup after cup. It was so tasty. So we're talking that we're going to have a pina colada bar next to the temple. So I'm just saying that how, sense gratification, it's simply like punascharvita charvananam. You're trying to squeeze out the pleasure. They make the sugarcane juice and try to get every drop out of it. And then time after time, there's nothing left in the sugarcane, nothing left, not even one drop of juice. Then they throw it in the ground. Not like here, you have to put it in the plastic bag and put it in the bin. In India, they throw it on the side of the road. And so the cow comes by and they try to get anything left in the, So Bhagavatam explains the material enjoyment is like that. We're trying to get every drop out of it, even though there's none left. And they go, oh, Bodacha, it's fantastic. I'm enjoying so much. What is there to really enjoy? So, Vidura was telling Dhritarashtra, get out. You're too attached. Sadhu. Sadhu means one who is like a knife. He cuts your throat. It doesn't cut your throat. They cut your ignorance, cut our false ego. That's why, when you're near the sadhu, you feel like vibrations. You're near a pure devotee, you feel their vibrations, the spiritual It rubs onto us. That's why we want to associate with a sadhu. And whatever they say is very like fire. Touches our heart. Pure devotees, that's how they can touch the heart of the conditioned soul. So potent, like a knife. They cut ignorance. This is what initiation means. When you take initiation, you're promising your guru, I'm going to serve you, Prabhupada. I'm going to serve Guru Maharaj. I'm going to serve Krishna for life. And then after initiation, after a while, you start to become more stagnant and fall away. We forget our promise. I promised that I will, it's mentioned in Bhagavatam, we promise. We are suffering so much in the womb. There's so much pain in the womb. We're stuck there. We're praying to Krishna, please let me get out of this situation. I'll serve you. And we come out, such a nice place. And we forget about Krishna, forget about promise. So we have to remember, what is the purpose behind of our being here? Always remember back of our mind why we're doing all this. I'm sure every one of you have your agenda. You have what plan, you get up in the morning, we have to do this, I have to do that. And I'm sure many of people, they don't have the plan within the plan of serving Krishna. Your plan. Oh, I'm going to do this today, and I have to go this and do this. There's very little plan to serve Krishna. So our promise is to serve Krishna. People all the time make promises, but man proposes, God disposes. You see airplane, people have planned to go overseas somewhere, big accident, collision, and the people die, everyone. So we have to be careful. We are in the material world very short time. Padam padam jadvi padam. The material world is a place of misery. At every step there can be danger. So watch out. Remember Krishna. Always think of Krishna wherever you are. Before sleep, remember Krishna. After you get up, remember Krishna. While you're sleeping, dream of Krishna. Always. Pratatam kirtayanto mam jatantascha didavata. Krishna says, always think of me, become my devotee. Endeavor in great determination. Manmanabhava madbhakta. Krishna says, time and time. Oh, it's so difficult. What is the difficult? Prabhupada says, what's the difficulty? Just give it up. Just drop it. Australian, they always says, drop it, mate. Just drop it. Give it up. Isn't it so easy? Just give it up. Oh, I love it so much. I have to keep it. Just like Hanuman. In India, there is pictures of Hanuman. He has his chest open, like this. Have you seen it? Chest open. And he had Sitaram Lakshman in the heart. This is why we don't open our chest, because we have so many desires. We have to cover it each other. Yeah. They had Hanuman. Hanuman, he's so pure that his heart is full of love for Krishna, love for Ram. So devotee's heart, you have to be very pure. No other desire. Desires are like rocks you carry in your back, very heavy. You try to swim across the river with big bag in your back. If you're more light, then you can becomes more smooth. Like I do yoga. Yesterday I did yoga performance. Who saw it? You saw it? I did the yoga performance. Yeah, I love it so I didn't have breakfast. I didn't have lunch. There's just prasadam everywhere, and everyone say Prabhu, and then a big plate of chickpea. I said that's the worst thing. So I said no chickpea, and he pile of rice. So what happens if you eat like all this prasadam and you do yoga? Forget it. The body is very heavy and you can't stretch. So my body was light, and after about 2 hours of jumping around, I already really warmed up, and I could stretch like anything. Yoga is a good thing. So if you are having so many desires, it's like keeping yourself very heavy. Heavy with material desire is weighing you down in the material existence, way bottom of the pot in the material world. I see some of my god brother, proper disciples, sometimes I bump into them in the city. Hi, Haribol. I got beard, and so they look so different than before. Oh yeah, I used to be. Yeah, you know. The effulgence is not there anymore. The effulgence, the jolliness, the joy, the happiness is down. It's like, what is this? You're going to make a devotee, and you're going to look like, I'm really enjoying, really happy. Krishna consciousness is full of bliss. If you're selling a product and you go around looking like that, you're not going to sell anything. So you are going to preach Krishna consciousness. We have to really actually enjoy what we are doing. We're loving it so much. Even if you're not, just try to pretend to be, at least when you're out there in the street. And then you go in the door, oh God, I have this desire. Deal with it later. When you're in the temple, give yourself 100%. Tamal Krishna Maharaj always say, when you walk in the temple, you leave your shoes outside the door. So leave your desire, leave all your anarthas outside. Now you're for Krishna, you're for Radha Gopinath. Jump in ecstasy, like you all did. Stand in the back. Get off your hand, jump in the air. So ecstasy of Krishna consciousness comes when you have that freedom. We're talking about here chastity. Chastity for a devotee or Mataji is to the free for serving Krishna. I lived here before in the 80s, and all the Matajis, our temple, we lived in King's Cross, where Raghav used to be down there, and a smaller temple room. There was 30 brahmacharis, 30 Matajis, all young. I was just 16. And all young Matajis, young boys, so it's full of energy, full of vibrant. And we are really macho. Macho means like fanatical kind of. No, not even look at Matajis and all these things going on. And so you all have to dress up really nice, go out, and there's Australia Day. So every Mataji had to be in the street, Australia Day, and pin a flag, Australian flag, under all the people's shirt, and gas for donation. And then there was one day, there was Australia Day, the American, it was the sailors that came to here at the harbor. And then the whole city was packed with American soldiers and the sailors. And they're just looking for, this and that. And our Mataji was dressed up, and they were pinning flag, Australia Day. And, they're young guys, and they're just giving like anything, so much money. So everybody's coming back, thousands of dollars. It's 30 Matajis, and we went. And so use your technique to serve Krishna. We have the ability, use our ability to serve Krishna, to attract Krishna. So you have to see, like I was saying before, the underlying principle of our being here, the purpose of being here is how we can attract Krishna, how we can bring people to Krishna, engage the people in Krishna's service, trick them somehow. Jena tena prakarena, somehow engage them bring them to the lotus feet of Krishna. That's what Radharani does. She brings the gopis to the feet of Krishna. Not just you can just go there. She'll choose. But this person is ready. So there's a lot of system there. Everything has a system. So similarly, we in Krishna consciousness, if we do not have that spiritual background of understanding what we're doing here, and the purpose is to develop love for Krishna, we'll have other programs, other agendas, I'm sure. We'll forget after a while our promise to Guru, our promise to Krishna. And I remember, I was your age, and very macho brahmachari. Then I spent all day. We're not allowed to be in the ashram after, we had to be in karmi dress before prasadam. So not allowed to go back in the ashram. So we take prasadam, hit the road, with books, whatever. And then everybody had to bring $200. That was the motto. And I come back home, somehow or another. Not allowed to steal, but somehow. And I remember they dropped me off at the corner of Pitt Street, in the middle of the city that time, near the tower. Gave me 2 boxes of Back to Godhead, Saturday morning. There's a lot of books in there. I mean, 100 pieces of Back to Godhead, 2 boxes. And there was a devotee named Brigapati. And he dropped me. He said, "We'll pick you up at 5 o'clock." That was at 9 in the morning. I said, okay. And make sure the box was empty. So I was trying to get, and then it was really difficult. And nobody was stopping to take it back to Godhead. And I needed to also make money. So I thought, and you have to know different lines, mantra. They said mantra. You have to tell the people to try to get their attention. So I tried everything, and no one was listening. So I got really angry. I thought, I'm not going to use any line. And then I came to the program and chanted my rounds, and I prayed to the Radha Gopinath, and I had everything, morning program, but everything was going wrong throughout the day. And so then I said, no mantra, I'm just going to stop someone. I said, "Hey you, stop right there and give me $20. That's like, and then the guy said, yeah, sure. Give me $20. I said, I'm going to do this line now, from now on. But then, no mantra. But I thought, maybe not, because this doesn't always work on people. This just happened to be young, and he was shocked, and the way. But then that made me an inspiration. Then I was just bang, bang, bang. I could stop people, and I was getting money, and before I know it, I had all books gone, and I got a lot of donations. And Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai. So everything has a technique, but technique is not always works. You have to have the sincerity. You have to have the desire, deep desire to serve Krishna. It's not a mechanical thing. It has to work. Just like you're flying in the airplane, they check it, they do everything, but still there's accidents. So how does it work? We don't know. So everything is not always how it works. There must be also our system doesn't always work, but it depends on love. It depends on your voluntary service, his sincerity. Krishna will give his mercy. So we don't hold on to. We have to let go of it. Just like the yoga, you have to let go of your desire. Meditation, let go of your other thoughts, relaxing. So if you are holding on to desire, it blocks us from perfection. So Krishna, similarly, he will bless us when we have the desire to serve him. He will allow us. This should be our prayer. So it's not you can just go to the forest, because there's no forest today. Where you want to go, on the way to Newcastle, there's some forest on the roadside. But behind that, maybe army or something, Air Force or who knows. It's not much forest. Prabhupada started our temple in the cities. He didn't start it in a forest, in Himalayas. He left, he went to New York, because where the people are, where people need it the most, the ignorant people are in the city. So we preach Krishna consciousness, now our temples are in the city. So it's not that we need to go to the forest. The detachment comes from serving Krishna. By Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, by developing a higher taste, you can give up the lower taste. The higher taste is this taste for chanting Hare Krishna. The higher taste is to associate with devotees. Why many devotees, we expect them to be here after 40 years, 50 years. But sometimes we are not seeing that we haven't really developed. We are just living on the mercy. Like some people, they just live on the government fund. They're just lazy bums. Get up and go to work. They don't want to. Just taking it easy. So then you work hard, the result will come. I went around the world, and I haven't got anything home for myself. And some of my friends, they just stayed here, just stayed in Sydney or Melbourne or Perth somewhere. They just stayed and didn't go around or anything. And I came back after 15 years, and they have a home and have a family, and everything's going well, very settled. And so they say, Prabhu, you're just going around and you haven't got anything. But here I am. What do I need? I'm here giving a talk to you. I'm in a good condition. I'm not sick or anything, by Krishna's mercy. So it doesn't depend on your material circumstances. The idea is to have love for Krishna. How much love you have got for Krishna and your Guru? You measure it. Your material things going up, but where is your love for Krishna going up? So you have to see that. What our being, we are devotees because we want to serve Krishna. We want to go back to Godhead. That's the purpose behind our Krishna consciousness. We want to go back to Godhead. We want to go where Guru Maharaj is. We're not here to just like in a hotel, like I was saying before, increasing your comfort life in a hotel. We have to get out of here one day. So they always say, oh, Prabhu, where's your... Son, I'm perfectly okay. Yeah. So your health, we say in the yoga, your health is important. You're like, sitting in a wheelchair, how much can you accomplish? So your health is important. More than that, your spiritual health. I can't measure your consciousness. Put on a scale and what you're thinking. You can measure your health, but I can't measure your consciousness. So that's why it says Krishna consciousness. Make your consciousness Krishna conscious. Develop your heart and your consciousness Krishna conscious. That is the highest principle. So, I see sannyasis, they travel around, preach Krishna consciousness. They're perfectly okay. Their health is good, they're on a diet and everything. So Krishna take care of them. Krishna always will take care of us. Even why Dhritarashtra went to the forest? He can light a fire for himself. Where's the light? Where's the fires coming from? We all have fire in our body. Because that fire is coming from Krishna. Sun God. We see Prabhupada used to say, when you see the sunlight, this is because coming from the sun God. And Krishna says, I am sun and moon. From me comes everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Sun, moon, light, everything. I am the creator of all of these things. The power we get from, the energy you get from, this Krishna is the creator of all of these things. So try, if you see Krishna, you love Krishna, everything will come to us. We don't have to worry. They always talk about it, don't worry. But yet we always have worries. Behind doors, pulling your hair out. So much worry. That's it, there's no worry, actually. We create the worriness. We create the problem. There's no problem here. So you run to the forest. You don't run anywhere. You just run to Krishna. He will take your problem away, out the window, and you feel very ecstatic. Yeah. So always try to see that spiritual life, it's not a mechanical thing, but this spiritual life with Krishna consciousness is full of joy. What's that in the verse in Bhagavad Gita? Krishna says that a devotee performed devotional service, joyfully performed. You know that verse? Susukam kartam abhayam, joyfully performed. So devotees, they take great pleasure talking about Krishna. They take great pleasure chanting Hare Krishna. They take great pleasure in serving Krishna. You cook for Radha Gopinath. Try not to cook every time same thing. Cook all nicely. Radha Gopinath is enjoying it. And sometimes you have to make 3 sabjis, and then you throw them all 3 type vegetables in a ghee and fry it and separate them, put in a chaunch. That's boom, done. 3 sabjis. If your Guru Maharaj comes, he doesn't cook it like that. Suppose Krishna is there, he put his flute out and said, Prabhu, what is this? He didn't tell you that. But he is saying, we're not listening. I always think that way. I try to see that I'm chanting Hare Krishna. He's there. He's listening to my chanting. Yeah. Krishna is always there in us. So Dhritarashtra, he saw. There's purpose behind. I don't want Vidura preached to him. So he got out of his house. He went to the forest because he knew that there's no use stuck here in this home atmosphere. I will go leave this body and go to heaven, go to the spiritual world. That is the idea. So everything we do, that how much are we actually understanding, that scaling out, that are we loving Krishna? Are we getting closer to the devotees? You know, like if you all went to India, go to see your parents, you know, only you see your parents. And I know some of you Indian, from our Indian background, brahmacharis in Melbourne also, they go to India. They say they can't wait to leave their home. They want to go to see the temple and be in ISKCON because they're just fed up. The parents, they'll nag them and stuff. They don't want to be with the family members. So the devotees are our real family. We take great pleasure being with devotee. We take great pleasure in Krishna consciousness. So sometimes we leave our home to go to see our parents, but we can't stand it. 3 days later we want to go back. We want to go to the temple. Because, you know, my parents, my father and mother, they all passed away already. You know, my mother passed away last year, and father long ago. So I have a lot of relatives in Bengal. I'd never go see them because they eat fish and do all those things, and so I don't go see them. And I feel really uncomfortable. But when I come here, with all the devotees, you're the family. And Prabhupada used to say like that, you are my family. Hundreds of disciples. It's so comforting to be with devotees. So this is why we have to make that good feeling amongst us. If everybody starts, you find somewhere else. So we have to create this atmosphere of very joyfully performed devotional service. Otherwise you will want to go to the forest. We want to be here where there is really happening. If you live in Victoria, they're right in the number plate. You put your number plate, and underneath they said, Victoria, the place to be. What is the place to be? This is the place to be. Temple. Sydney, to be. Here. What's the number? 180 Falcon Street. Yeah. I memorized all the addresses of the temples. You know, 197 Dank Street. 3C Albert Road, Calcutta. That's all the temples are. So to remember Krishna, you have to remember what the temples are, not just your home address. Hanuman, he was traveling. You know, Hanuman, they travel. You know, they don't, country to country, universe to universe, flying. I love to do that. Yeah. I get in this airplane, and stuck in the seat for hours and hours. This couple of months ago, I had to go to Canada. 15 hours stuck there. And 2 people sitting next to me, they're eating all kinds of food and talking nonsense. That's like real austerity. Yeah, real austerity. Eating and smoking and not smoking, beer. Like, just, oh Krishna, please make the airplane go faster. Tell the pilot, go quickly. And so, it's such an austerity for brahmacharis and devotees to live in the mature world. So we have to somehow persevere. So Hanuman, he doesn't get in the airplane like that. He can fly. So he met Narada Muni on top of a hill, somewhere in the mountains. He said, oh, Narada Muni! Oh, Hanumanji! Kaisa hai! How are you doing? Like you always say, hey, how are you? Well, good to see you after so many years. And so they're hugging each other. And then they said, let's sit down. So they sat on the top of the mountain. So it's a rocky mountain. And Hanuman, Narada Muni said, oh, you are a good singer. Can you sing about the glories of Ram? Yeah, sure. And he goes in ecstasy. sing about Lord Ram because he's Ram Bhakta. And so I'm going to tell two stories. So Narad Muni put his veena down. He plays veena. Narad Muni has veena, not a guitar. Okay, veena. He put the veena down on a rock. So Hanuman was singing Ram and all that, so sweet and so captivating that the Narad Muni's veena got stuck. The rock melted, and his veena got stuck in the rock. When they finished singing, so he tried to get his veena out. So he said, "Can you sing again so the rock can melt? I can get the veena out." And so, just before they finished, they were just about to go away. Narad Muni said, "By the way, where do you live? So I can come and see you. What's your home address?" He said, "I'm sorry, I don't have a home. I'm homeless." Side of the road. Can I give you some? Yeah. He said, "I'm homeless. I don't have a home." He said, "My home is where Ram is. Where there is talk about Lord Ram, that's my home." So we're not here to try to make a home for ourselves. Our temples are a home. So the devotees, they work very hard, and you go to your home to sleep at night. The rest of the day, you're at the temple. So sometimes we say our second home is temple. So your real home is not just to sleep. So we don't get too stuck into material life, family and children, on and on and on. Fish, fish, they can give birth to 1,000 eggs. You can just have 1 or 2, maybe 10. In India, they have how many? And then they can't feed them. They don't have enough money. They keep having so many. So you don't want to be like that. If you can make your children Krishna conscious, that's okay. So don't gamble. Take things very seriously. Human life is for serving Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any questions? I can talk about this hours and hours, but you're going to be thinking of Pusharam in 15 minutes. So, questions? Get it out. I spoke a lot of things. There'll be a lot of questions, I'm sure. Don't be shy. And then the Maharajas, they come there and like everybody's hands up. Yes.
But most of the time when we try to plan, like we think of planning, but we have the tendency of failing to fulfill our desire. So we have the tendency that we are not able to do what I'm planning.
Like I said, we make our plans, and man proposes, God disposes. So sometimes our plan doesn't always work out. You have many, many plans, but don't worry about that. You still need to make a plan, even if it doesn't work out. There has to be a plan, okay? Oh, it didn't work out? I don't make a plan anymore. No. Oh, I chanted Hare Krishna, I didn't feel anything. I didn't, the devotees were not very nice, and I'm not coming back anymore. It can't be like that. That's negative. You need to practice, no matter what. So you have to make a plan, no matter what. It doesn't work out, that's another thing. Because it's going to be like that sometimes. It doesn't work. So, if it's for Krishna, so see that Krishna is there behind. Maybe it's for Krishna. Maybe Krishna doesn't want me to do that. Maybe because it's not good. Maybe if I go down the road right now, maybe I'll get an accident. So better I stay here. Who knows? Krishna always there to protect us. See things in a very... I'll give you an example. Ramakrishna Maharaj was asked to get a Govardhan Shila for the temple, We worship Shaligam Shila. So they went to Vrindavan, Govardhan Hill. So they wanted to get this Govardhan Shila. So how do you can't just take a piece of rock and walk away with it. You have to wait for a... So he says, Ramakrishna Maharaj is very, very observative. He used to say, we go there, on the side of the hill, and chant Hare Krishna, or get into meditation. and we'll get an indication from Krishna. So they all went there, and so they were chanting and wait for indication. And all of a sudden, this cow came by, and it was licking on a rock, And Damalkishna Maharaj said, "That's the one!" That's the indication. That's the rock. So they got that rock. That's huge. So they had to bring it to Houston, all the way to America, to worship. They go there, they have this huge, big rock. They got it from Vrindavan, from Govardhan Hill. So sometimes we have to see deep in our heart, deep inside, indication from Krishna. We're just going around, we're not getting it. It's because we are too blocked up with our desires. So we're not feeling it. You have to feel it. Just like when you eat halwa, you can tell, wow, this is really good. Hot, and it's got saffron and cardamom, and you can eat halwa when you in Indian restaurant. So there's difference. So we can know the differences, but that's because you're just not gobbling in and swallowing it, but you're feeling it. Then that's how you know it. So you have to observe. You have to feel it. Then Krishna will indicate. So the plan is there, but always make sure there's the plan of action is that in between there is the plan to serve Krishna. Not just your plan. Today I meet the girlfriend, and then this place, and here, this goes on and on. But I won't tell you. So then you have to practice. You all know, okay? So serve Krishna. Krishna will help you. If material plans go right, things go all correctly, what about spiritual plan? Krishna is there, he's involved, he'll help you. He will make it all very good. Just like Prabhupada went to America. He made all the plan, he prepared. Lifetime in Preparation, there's a book. And everything was smooth. Not really smooth, but Krishna was there beside. There's test, but Prabhupada knew Krishna is there with me, even if things went wrong. Okay? Yes?
You were talking about some people who have been in the movie, the Prabhupada disciples, and you tell them, Haribol, and their reply is just, Haribol.
At least they replied. They're like, Haribol,
So for us, we're just new devotees, what is it that we should do to make sure that we are Haribol after 40 years and not...
I know there's a devotee in Melbourne. He's a very old devotee. He lives in the ashram, white devotee. And I came back to Melbourne after 30 years. And I was thinking, wow, I'm going to see this devotee and that devotee. Nobody even knows me. They said, oh, Prabhu, are you from Philippines? Are you the new devotee that, where we, so people don't know. So then only that devotee knows. So sometimes he's very grumpy. He's 70 now. Always doesn't talk with us. He looks like, he's very complaining. So I said, at least he's here doing his service. Because people get old, they're grumpy. Don't worry about it. Like my mother was devotee all her life. And every time I went to see her, give me a house, bring me to Australia, I said, no, you're living in the dham. I'm not bringing you anywhere. So they get grumpy, but you have to just accept. But what you can do? But at least they're serving Krishna. Try to see things positively. So, obviously, they're not here with us. There's going to be some influence of material world. So they're going to be down. But then, this is why we are here, to encourage people. We are here to inspire each other. Inspire our God brothers, God sisters, wherever they are. They'll come back. So when you go there, we see them, hey, Haribol, and they see you're really fired up and very jolly. They say, wow, where am I at? I want to be like you. So we're not just creating that for our God brother and God sister, but for everybody in the street. We go in Harinam, they see us, we're give it in, 100%. Sing and dance loudly with enthusiasm. And they say, wow, my God, I'm really missing out. This is Hare Krishna, they're really enjoying. And I want to be like you. Just before I came here, I did the Harinam in Melbourne. And They all know that if I go out, there's no mucking around. Full-on kirtan. Like, even Mridanga players after 1 hour had it. But they had to be really playing, full-on. So, if we pray to Krishna, Krishna will give us the mercy and He'll help us. As soon as you sit down, and this, and you're down with it. It's all in the mind. You think too much, you think that only. You have to think of Krishna. You think of Krishna, you feel like full of bliss, instantly. Like in China, they have things called instant noodle. You just talk about instant. When you eat the noodle, it's not very nice. So, a real instant Krishna consciousness, instant happiness is there in the holy name. So, those devotees, they go away, don't worry. They're all going to come back. So, you just have to be very positive about everything. If we are not, sometimes you make plan, you have this, I have that. See Krishna behind everything. And Krishna will arrange, don't worry. Things will go smoothly. Just depend on Krishna. That's how I say it. Always Krishna. They say, well, you people are too much about Krishna. You're like fanatics. You don't even take your hands out of the bead bag. Even when you're talking, your hands inside the bead bag. You're all fanatical. You're brainwashed by Krishna. It's okay. I like it. I like to be brainwashed for Krishna. I remember in the Gurukul, I was in the Gurukul, and I said many other words except Krishna, bad words, to other devotees. So they have a thing, punish the children. Now, before they used to beat. They stopped beating now. But where I lived, in that Gurukul, they didn't beat. They gave up. They said, they stopped that beating me. I said, no beating me, because I wouldn't give up. So they gave up. So I said the bad word. They made me eat neem leaves. You know neem leaves? Big bunch of neem leaves. Because if you eat one leaf a day, mosquitoes won't bite you, because your blood's turned into like bitter. And so they made me eat this big bunch, and it's super bitter. And in front of everybody. So I can't spit it out. So while they're talking about Krishna, I'm chewing on the neem leaves. And I had to swallow in, bit by bit. And that's how they say you have to wash your mouth, cleaning, and it's very healthy. So Krishna consciousness is to create the purity in our heart through the process of Krishna consciousness by chanting Hare Krishna. You don't have to eat neems and just, but in chanting Hare Krishna, instantly you'll feel happiness. It's full of, not bitter, it's full of sweet. But that verse, it says, the chanting Hare Krishna, devotional service, Sat Krishna Nama Charitadi, that verse, that is like sugar candy, full of sweet. But it tastes like, if you're not relishing it, it tastes bitter, but then it's full of sweet, actually. Another question? Tonight is Sunday program, right? We can talk a little bit about Prabhupada or not? Yeah. Prabhupada stories and stuff. One more questions? No? Maraji? No, you, right here. Yeah. You're